Hello and welcome to another episode of The Naked Truth.
We are the relationship biohackers, and
Today we are going to discuss the secret to having a happy and healthy relationship.
a secret.
It's a 3-letter word.
It's sex.
It's not sex.
It's not sex. You got a problem, folks.
But hang in there. We're going to reveal to you what this 3-letter word is and why it's so important to have a happy and healthy relationship.
Let's find out.
All right. So what is this 3-letter word?
It's not sex is what I was told, so I'm just here for the ride.
It's F-U-N. Fun. And as we talk about all the time, yes, the sex is amazing. The sex is the glue in a relationship. But there's another key ingredient that is really important. And personally, we've seen it with my father,
With a lot of my friends,
all of my uncles.
where it's, yes, we promote sex a lot. And yes, like Dr. Shelly says, sex is the glue. However, there is something that's fundamental in a relationship that's required. Let's call it the building block. And if that building block is not present from the very onset of the relationship will suffer. So we will contradict ourselves by saying sex alone will not hold a relationship together, or sex is not the only glue that holds the relationship together.
Exactly. And it's not the wham, bam, thank you, ma'am kind of sex. It's not always just having sex every single day, 3 times a week, 5 times a week, whatever. It's the sexual energy. It's the sexual connection. And that really is where a lot of people are confused. They think just having lots of sex in a relationship is the glue. And then they're still wondering why they have a shaky relationship, or why the foundation's not so great, or why they don't have good communication.
Or look at how many people end up guilting their partners to have sex because they feel that they need the sex. Because that's the one thing, and we'll just kind of touch on sex a little bit and move on to fun. But it is an important distinction for everybody to understand. You can't intimidate your partner to have sex. You can't manipulate them to have sex.
You can't use it as a cookie system or a reward system like Steve Harvey recommends.
And it's also not recommended that you use sex to solve your problems, because that's oftentimes what people do is they'll get into a disagreement, and instead of dealing with the reasons for the disagreement and let's resolve this, they will want to jump immediately to the sex portion of it because, sex is the glue and it'll make everything smooth over really, really quick.
Well, they're looking for the makeup connection, because if they have an argument or fight or whatever and they're disconnected, what's the quickest and easiest way to get connected again? It's the sex. Yeah. But that's not the solution, because oftentimes they just shove the problem underneath the rug and then it never really gets dealt with.
And it'll get back bigger down at the back end when it starts having another argument because it was never resolved to begin with. So moving on. Fun.
Let's talk about fun.
So we were recently interviewed, and during the interview, we had this wonderful lady,
Marcia from Australia.
And she was asking us what some of our secrets are, and especially with the lockdown that everybody's going through and everything else, like what are the challenges we face? And then we realized that we're not most couples that we actually do enjoy being around each other. And throughout the interview, there was one thing that kept reminding myself in the back of my head, talk about this one thing. And I didn't really get an opportunity to do it until the very end of the interview, but I'm glad we had an opportunity to do it. But this is one of the reasons, folks, we decided to do this episode, because we didn't talk enough about the fun factor. And I believe that the fun factor carries so much weight in the relationship.
Well, it really does. And it actually helps the sex when you're fun. Like thinking about our sex life, it's the fun that we have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that actually creates the sexual connection, creates the desire, the arousal, the turn on. So when we go back to the basis of what creates an amazing sex life, It
It's
really
the
is
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
When we go back to the basis of what creates good communication,
It's the fun.
it's the fun. When we go back to spending quality time together,
It's the fun.
it's the fun.
But even if, let's not forget, even the communication. If you're a fun person, then communication becomes easy. I can't tell you how many times I'm always harassing her and goofing around with her and just being stupid. And it's just that fun factor that even when it's time to talk about something serious, because we communicate and we have so much fun, it's easy to have almost any conversation.
Absolutely.
But what we've seen, and Shelly and I talked about this a lot. She lost her dad in September, and his ex-fiance turned out to be an absolute nightmare. Everybody around him saw it, including us, except him. And she took him for everything he had and robbed the family and did a whole bunch of stuff we're not going to get into. But when we ask, everybody who's been around him saw her craziness. They saw her mixed personality. They saw her addictions. They saw all these other things, her chaotic behavior.
They saw how she was using him.
But he couldn't see it. And when I remember asking him once, and it came back to fun. He was having fun. And we have had conversations over the years as to why is he still with her? And I kept reminding Shelly, she's fun.
Absolutely.
And men I've seen it with family members. I've seen it with so many of my friends. Men will put up with an absolutely crazy, insane partner just because they're fun. Not saying that you are.
You never know. That's a whole other conversation. But I mean, even look at one of your recent close friends who recently told you he keeps going back to the same girl. She's crazy, batshit crazy, but she's fun.
Yeah.
And we've had so many male clients who've gotten divorced. Their wives have taken them for everything. Sad that it's coming out that way, that the women have taken the men for everything, but they haven't. They've had to just start back from ground zero. And when
it's just the way the law structure is set up for divorces.
Unfortunately. But when we look at the women they choose after they get divorced,
it's night
time and time again, it is night and day difference. And it's like, whoa, what made you choose her? And then you look and it really is. It's like, oh, because she's fun.
Yeah. Well, your mom realized it. Let's be real. Your mom realized that years after the divorce happened, that, oh my God, he wanted somebody fun. And she was actually, although he had moved on and had another relationship, she was desperately trying to be fun.
Yeah.
Even with him and his girlfriend.
What's interesting is all of the things that she did not do with my dad, she then started doing after she got divorced. She started doing it with her boyfriends. She started doing it just to get a man. So she literally did a switch just like that and automatically became fun because she realized, okay, well, I'm on the market, so I guess I have to be fun if I'm going to get a man. And we see it all the time. Look at how many women we have, close friends who they've gotten divorced, and the moment they get divorced, what do? They
hit the fun factor.
And they lose weight, they get in shape, they start dressing confidently.
They want to go out, they want to jump around, absolutely.
Because they're back on the market, so they got to make themselves approachable, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, marketable.
But
here's the reality. Either you're that person or you're not. And if you are that person, then good on you. Don't stop just because you're in a relationship. Be that times 10. Don't just slow down. Oh, I'm in a relationship, so therefore I'm not going to dress nice. I'm going to put on weight. I'm going to wear my bedroom slippers. I'm going to wear sweats. I'm just going to sit in front of the TV. You have to continue being fun. This is why you got together when you were dating. The person enjoyed you because you were fun.
Exactly.
And as the relationship goes on and the tediousness of the relationship sets in, you have to ramp up that fun factor if you want your partner more interested.
Exactly. And that fun factor it's literally everything that you stop doing that you once did to win your partner over. So it's the flirting, it's the teasing, it's the being the silly, it's being goofy,
it's making her laugh at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Letting your barriers
Absolutely.
down. And if anything, the longer you're with a partner, you should actually let your barriers down more and become more goofy and more silly and more fun. Where what we see with our coaching clients is usually they cut off the fun factor because they get comfortable.
More conservative, more reserved. And if you add children in the middle of that, they use the children as the excuse. well, I can't be fun anymore because I'm a mom, I'm a dad, I have to be this way. No, you can still be fun. Besides, you're going to be a role model for your kids.
Absolutely, because if they don't see what a fun relationship looks like, that is their programming. They're going to duplicate your relationship. So that's why it's super important to show your kids that you're loving, that you're intimate, that you want each other, that you grab each other's asses. Like, don't hide that from your children. Our monkey sees it.
But here's the thing. If that's wonderful, if you can acknowledge that, yes, I am. And this is one of the things we're going to really challenge you. Look in the mirror, be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, am I really would I date me? Would I want to be around me? Look in the mirror and be really, really honest with yourself and be like absolutely raw, naked, honest. If you're a complainer, acknowledge that you're a complainer. If you're a
nagger,
always nagging, acknowledge that you're a nagging person. If you're always a wet towel, acknowledge that. If you're always down, then acknowledge that, because if you acknowledge it, then you can look out for ways to change that behavior instead of ignoring it and pretend, oh, no, that's me. I'm fun. Really? Are you? And if you are, ask some of your friends. But ask the ones that you know is going to be brutally honest with you and not just tell you what you want to hear. Ask them for their honest opinion. I'm not going to get pissed off. Can you please tell me? Do you think I'm a fun person? Do you think I have like funny moments and then I go back to being damper? Like, what exactly is my level of fun?
Do you enjoy spending time with me? Do you consider me somebody that you would choose to hang out with? Because that's going to tell you a lot. If your friends choose to hang out with you, that means you're fun. But an important exercise that you can do is put yourself in your partner's shoes. Like, if you were a man or a woman dating you or married to you, would you enjoy being married to you? Are you being everything that you would want in a partner? And if you're not being everything that you would want in a partner, then why do you think your partner is happy with you? Because unfortunately, a lot of couples assume they're happy, but they never talk about it.
Absolutely. It's the same reason they don't talk about sex. It's just not a conversation they have, but yet they expect it to get better. If you're not happy in the relationship or your partner is not happy, how are you going to find out if you don't ask? But let me ask you something, though. I'm sure a lot of people would ask, well, yeah, it's one thing to throw out that word, oh, wow, yeah, I'm fun, but what does that look like? What would you consider fun?
To me, fun is waking up in the morning and having a smile on my face, making you laugh, laughing at your jokes that you tell me. I'm down for anything you want to do. If you're like, hey, let's go hike the mountain. Yeah, let's do it. Hey, let's go ride a bike. Absolutely. If I'm like, hey, let's do yoga every day during the lockdown, you're like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, but I'm going to draw the line on the makeup and
the facial masks and the pedicures and manicures.
No, we're not having it. However, but you make a good point. And that's one thing, and I've been asked this because I've been married twice before, and one of my very, very close friends, Darce, I know you're out there, said to me, he's like, why you have everything in life, this is before I met Shelly, he's like, you are exactly where you want to be in life, making the kind of money, living the kind of life that you want. Why would you go get married? Like, what are you, insane? You've been married twice before. And then when we got involved, he saw the transition and actually mentioned that I actually became happier. And one of the things, not that it's you who made me happier, but being in the relationship made me happier. And one of the things I can attribute to it is that I was doing things by myself. And yes, I was having a good time. But having somebody, like you said, who is, like I always jokingly say, and I'm serious about it at the same time, my wife is a ride or die girl. And I know a lot of women would like to tell themselves they're ride or die. She is truly ride or die. Where anything I throw out there, even if it requires some risk, she'd be like, okay, let's go do it. And I'm like, well, I guess we're going to do it then. So are you that kind of person? Not just go, okay, I suppose, because the minute you come with that kind of energy, that's not a fun energy. The minute if your partner asks you to want to go do something, watch something, read something, whatever it is, and if you're like, okay, sure, what time? That energy has shifted immediately. And the person, your partners already know that you're doing it out of obligation, and they don't even want to be with you at that point in time. They're just like, you know what? Why the fuck did I even ask? I should have just gone and done it by myself.
Absolutely.
However, if you do it from
a place of fun, a place of willingness, a place of wanting to, because you want to spend time with your partner, then it's never an obligation. It's never a chore. And that's where we're coming back into the sex conversation a little bit. So many, at least 50% of women that I've studied, that I've surveyed, that I've worked with, that I've read online about other studies, 50% of women view sex as a chore, as an obligation, as work, that it's not fun. And if you view that as being a chore, as your duty, as a partner, as a wife in a relationship,
what else is going to be fun?
What else is going to be a chore or an obligation?
But think about it, though. Think about the insanity of that. That we're talking about the fact that a woman's body was made with one part of her body that scientists have now proven serves no other purpose, none, no other function, but for pure pleasure. And ladies, if you don't know what I'm talking about,
it's the clitoris.
Okay, it's the fun button.
Exactly.
Guess what it's called? The fun button. And if you're viewing sex as a chore, pleasure for your own self, getting emotionally high, having all the endorphins and all the other beautiful chemicals released in your body, and that's a chore?
And not only that, getting the emotional connection that you actually want and desire from your partner that oftentimes you complain about. He doesn't give you the emotional connection that you need. He doesn't do enough of this or enough of that. I'm not saying that you have to give into sex. I want you to give into sex because you want to, not for your partner. But I want you to actually recognize that by having sex, you're going to get the emotional connection that you want. You're actually going to have a partner who's happy to bend over backwards and do anything you want, whether it's the dishes, taking out the trash, because your partner is happy. It's not a reward system, but when your partner is happy, they're more than willing to do the house chores, the whatever, because they're happy. And that's why in our relationship, we have no gender roles. It's not you cook, you clean, I do this.
I'm doing laundry as we speak.
Exactly. And then I put away the laundry later and I'll take the trash out. And so we have no gender roles. We split everything because we're both happy. And that's where when you are not sexually satisfied, when you're missing something, when you're holding out on sex, when you're not fun, when you're doing things out of obligation, that unfortunately is when you start having other problems in your relationship, because that is the foundation. So if your foundation is cracked, you're going to have other problems. You're going to be nagging at one another. You're going to blow up. You're going to get irritated. You're going to get on each other's nerves. You're going to have tension. You're always going to nitpick about stupid shit.
But let's be real. Although we're talking about sex, if you're doing sex from a place that is not fun, the person's not going to want to have sex with you.
No,
then it becomes an obligation. And you're like, oh, what time? If it's Friday night at 7 o'clock, oh, I guess it's sex time, we have to. But if you're fun, the person's going to want sex from you all the time because you've made it fun. And you're not coming in with all your points of views of what you like, what you don't like, and I can't do this and I can't do that. You're down, like we say, down for anything. Just like, hey, you want to try something new? Okay, you want to swing off the chandelier? I'm in.
But I want to bring up a point here. I just got a message a little bit ago from one of our Instagram followers. He listened to an episode of ours, the last episode we did, and he tried to incorporate a little bit of sexting with his wife of 20-some years. And all he did was he sent her a lingerie website, and he asked her, pick out an item. Which one do you like? He just wanted to buy her a piece of lingerie. And do you know what her response was? Where did you get this website? Did somebody send it to you before? What have you been looking at on this website?
Yeah, ladies, unfortunately, you're guilty of that. And there are guys who are guilty of it too.
Absolutely.
There's so many. So it's not a gender thing. Just be honest. Put it out there. Insecurity and jealousy is not related to one gender or the other. Because there's a lot of men out there who, if a woman tried that, he may, let's say she sexed him something. Well, where'd you get this? Who are you watching? What were you watching on there? We get it. There are a lot of people. So that's what I'm saying. If you're going to go down the fun factor, look at yourself and be honest with who you are. Be honest with that. And if you're not a fun person, then what can I tell you? Go find somebody who's not as fun as you, and maybe you'll have a great relationship. But if you're a fun person, I will really encourage you. Take the time. Don't rush into a relationship. Don't fall in love. Walk in love. Take your time and go out with the person a few times. Put them in different situations and see how much fun they can be. And if you notice that putting them in situations, especially uncomfortable situations, around family and close friends and all of that, and if you see that they can't hold their own, I tested her like nobody's business. dumped her in the middle and go, okay, let me see how you do. And, here we are, 9 years later. Turns out that all my friends and family fell in love with her, and, they're like, you're nuts not to marry her. So, again, and that's my point. Look how many people told us that we're not to be married to each other because they saw that we were both vibrating from that same place. And, yes, one person is very likable and fun and amiable, but together we're a tornado.
Nice.
Just gets a little batshit crazy. But, this is how we are all the time. It's always that fun factor. And I will tell you this from a male's perspective. Some of my past partners, including ex-wives, I got to the point where I would not bring up certain things because I know it'll set them off. So it became a path where you couldn't talk about certain things because it'll just become emotional. And one of the things that I will give Shelly credit for is no matter what I bring up, she's very lighthearted about it. So even now when I give her a hard time about dishes in the sink or forgetting to plug things back after she unplugs them, she just laughs. And she just kind of skips away. And I'll tell you something, it's hard to be angry or to get upset with somebody who's not even giving you the time of the day and kind of just laughs at you and walks away. And you're like, but wait, I want to get angry at you. And you're like, yeah, I know. But again, fun factor.
And it's in everything. I mean, it's like he's saying, and arguments even, if your partner's always nagging you, just be fun. If your partner texts you, be fun in the response. If your partner wants to do something, be fun. So when people ask, well, what does that look like? It looks like that. Just be fun. I mean, I'll give an example. I mean, I remember my dad, he's always been a motorcycle fan. My mom never once got on the back of that motorcycle with him.
Guess what his girlfriend did?
She rode the motorcycle everywhere with him. She was a biker girl.
She encouraged him to buy bikes, and she encouraged him to go to things he never even went to.
Exactly.
Look, he used to go to a Daytona 500 and the Daytona Bike Week every year.
Sturgis every year,
which he dreamed about.
Exactly. Those were his dreams, and he never was able to do that because my mom didn't want to.
And for 9 years, he never missed any.
No, not at all. And then you bring home a bike and I take it over, I steal it.
Yeah, well, that's a different story. We're not going to go down that path. But yeah.
That was fun.
Bike thief right
and
here.
You rode on the back?
I had to ride, bitch. What can I tell you?
Wasn't that
fun? It was fun, though. But that's the point, though. It's the fun factor. And maybe a different way to express it if you're not understanding what fun looks like. Lightheartedness. If you approach life from this light-hearted, joyous space where everything is a new experience, everything is going to be exciting, and even if it's challenging, we'll make the best out of it and we'll laugh and talk. Look how many situations we have found ourselves sleeping in bus stations and sleeping in airports because we've missed flights or things have gotten screwy.
Lost our luggage and we were without clothes for 2 weeks. We literally had to buy all brand new clothes. Like as we were boarding a cruise ship, we had to run through Barcelona.
But it was fun. We didn't.
Yeah, everything was fun.
Nobody screamed and yelled at each other. Nobody that, I wanted to. Yeah, you know what? We all want life a certain way, but we can't always have life a certain way. But we can have a good attitude towards life.
Exactly. So
that no matter what life throws us, if we have a good attitude about it, if we have a fun attitude towards life, guess what? Life is no longer so challenging. So even if you're not in a relationship, take a look at who you are. Look in the mirror. Be honest with yourself. Because I'm telling you now, if you can adapt this fun attitude, even if you're single, especially if you're single, life itself takes on a whole different meaning. You don't feel so challenged anymore. You don't feel so much pressure. You don't feel so much stress because you're like, I'm just having a good time.
And people are actually drawn to you when you're fun. They want to be around you because not everybody vibrates at that level of fun. People are vibrating at the mundane, robotic, just go through life. Life sucks. Oh, look, it's a down economy.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, what's the world going to come to? And all they want to do is complain. But if you're fun and you're like, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity. Like, let's enjoy this lockdown. I'm personally enjoying the lockdown. It's been a blessing in disguise. My body is enjoying it because I'm not seeing patients. I'm not beating myself up.
And I'm enjoying her body, so I'm not being
Exactly.
But that is really what we're talking about, folks. I mean, we don't want to beat this to death, but if you don't get this, we don't know how else to put it to you. One of the key foundations to our relationship is the fact that we are openly communicating about everything. We're open about everything. We don't judge each other for anything. And we're fun. We're just, I do my best. When I get up in the morning, I look every opportunity to try and find ways to make her laugh or to be silly or make fun of her. And
5 in the morning until 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
just how we
got me
roll.
laughing. And I give them a lot of material. Trust me.
I could be a one-man stand-up comedy show with this one standing next to me.
So if you don't know where to begin, ask yourself that powerful question. Are you fun? If you were your partner, would you be absolutely happy, utterly grateful, in love with you because you're fun? Would you want to spend uberly fun? Like, would you want to spend hours upon hours with you? Would you be your best friend? So put yourself in your partner's shoes. And if you're single, put yourself in a potential partner's shoes. Would you date you?
And here's a good thing. Don't ask. Remember I had said earlier about ask your friends. Don't ask the friends who like you. Don't ask your close friends. Ask friends who are like sometime-ish friends. Ask friends who don't spend a lot of time with you. Just ask them their honest opinion, because chances are they'll be a lot more open and honest with you. And if you really have some cojones and you want to really deal with the truth, if you have an ex, ask your ex.
Ooh.
Ask your ex how much fun you are. And be prepared to hear the truth.
That's a good one.
Because they got nothing to lose at that point in time. They'll tell you exactly. And you're not asking them why we broke up and all. Hey, listen, I just got a simple question for you. Can you just be honest with me? Because I'm trying to grow for myself and I just want to know. Was I fun? And if I wasn't, what was I missing?
And if you have kids, ask your kids.
Yeah, do. We ask our dog all the time.
He loves us. But your kids will tell you if you're fun or if no. You're a boring mom. You're a boring dad.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, subscribe below. You know how to find us. Reach out to us. Book a session with us if you need help, because we really feel for you. We know that you probably don't have the kind of relationship we do that can survive the times like these. So we're here for you, to support you, to help you in any way we can. And we are doing a virtual retreat on May 14th to May 18th.
And it's cheap.
It's only $44.
$44 all week.
For 5 days of self-love, self-mastery, and learning how to overcome the fears of today and this crazy coronavirus lockdown quarantine.
And what's it called again?
It's called Zencation's Virtual Retreat, and we're doing 2 topics. We'll be talking about how to create a next level relationship with Tantra.
And we'll be talking about how to communicate effectively in a relationship and opening up the magic. We're also going to ask you folks, our goal is to use our relationship to inspire people. And we live our truth. What you see is what you get. Once this camera turns off, this is exactly who we are.
A little bit funnier.
We kind of can turn things down. But please share the video with your friends. Our goal is really to get out to as many people, help as many people as we can. That is really our goal. We're not in it for money. We're not in it for fame. We just looked at ourselves and realized that we were hearing it from everybody else, but we had something to share. So share it with your friends. Subscribe and let us help you.
And we will see you in next week's episode. Have a beautiful day.